Now, I want to put my mantra up top here. I do not think skincare has to be expensive. In fact, I think it should be whatever it takes for you to stick with it. That's the whole point of foundational skincare too. It can be as simple as you want. And in this video, it is my objective to prove that to you. Hi, everybody. This is Blueprint by Adam Hurly. You may have guessed it, but I'm Adam Hurly. I have been a grooming journalist for over a decade. My clients include GQ, Men's Journal, Robb Report, Forbes Vetted, Esquire, Men's Health, you name it, I've probably written for them, and Blueprint is where I put all of my expertise and experience into one place for your benefit. And today it is for your skin's benefit. It's about foundational skincare. We will go over the 4 foundational steps in a skincare routine. There's many more steps you can add to that. However, there are 4 foundational steps. You can even start combining them. So in theory, your skincare regimen could be 2, maybe 3 steps. Couple disclaimers for this video. First and foremost, you should assume every product featured is one that I have received to test for free. As a grooming journalist, I basically get everything under the sun, whether I call it in or they send it to me. It's just part of my job. I have to test as many things as possible so that my opinion is as tested and as formed as possible. Secondly, please remember, I am not a doctor or dermatologist. Before I get into those 4 steps, I want to stress the importance of knowing your skin type and any skin variables that you might have. Now, the skin types include oily, dry, combination, and normal. Oily and dry are probably the most obvious. However, there is a difference between dehydrated skin and dry skin. Dry skin is a specific type. Dehydrated might be a seasonal situation, or maybe you've overstripped your skin from washing it too much and it becomes dehydrated, or you sleep in an air-conditioned room and wake up with dehydrated skin. So just remember, dry is a type and dehydrated is temporary. Now, the other 2 are combination and normal. Normal is so weird to me because it's like, okay, congrats on your normal skin. It really means that you have balanced skin. You don't experience a lot of problems. To be truthful, I don't think many people have normal skin, especially once you add in the skin variables that I will mention in a second. And guys in particular tend to lean more oily. So if you feel like maybe you're normal, you might actually have what's called combination skin. That's where you have sometimes dry skin, sometimes oily, maybe oily in some parts, maybe normal in other parts. But typically you might have oil across the top and down the middle. That's your T-zone. And you might have dry skin like around the cheeks and down the chin. I really hope in this video that my skin is not reading too oily. I tend to be shiny on camera. I think that's the nature of having glowy, radiant complexion. I'm doing my best to make sure that my oily skin is under control. I'm even using some oil absorbing sheets to make sure that I'm not reading too shiny on camera here. Now, in addition to your skin type, you also need to consider your skin's variables or its needs. These needs can include having acne-prone skin, hyperpigmentation-prone skin, sensitive skin, and even mature or aging skin. That might mean that you are experiencing a loss of collagen, you're noticing more fine lines and wrinkles, and you need to address those matters. But in all of these situations, you might have to add a product to your regimen above the foundational skincare routine to address the specific needs of your situation. However, you can also shop for products with these needs in mind. So maybe you have oily skin and acne prone skin. That could be me, although I guess I'm combination and acne prone. And then I often choose products that satisfy both of those things, but you can still keep it really simple and have just 3 or 4 products in your routine to do that. But above all, I want to re-emphasize that skincare can be extremely easy. And the most important thing is to build a regimen that you can maintain. This is like fitness for your skin. Everything you do for your skin should fall into something that you can maintain on a daily basis, basically for the rest of your life. And thus, again, is the importance of maybe keeping it simple. There's no point in doing any of it if you're not gonna keep it up every single day. I'm gonna make a bunch of passing product recommendations as I go. I won't spend too much time on each one, but with each step, I'll have options that are really affordable, I'll have options that are really universal, and I'll probably throw in a luxe option or 2. And in the back half of this video, we'll talk about ways that you can consolidate this 4-step regimen, if you want, into maybe 3 steps, in some cases 2 steps if you're hyper minimalist, and I'll include a few products there that also satisfy the minimalist mentality. The first step is cleansing. You gotta wash your face. Typically, we tell guys to wash their face before bed and in the morning. Before bed because you've gone through the whole day, you've been in a polluted environment, you've probably been sweating, you have some other product on your face that you applied earlier in the day. You want to wash your face first thing in the morning because you've had your face pressed against your pillow the entire night. And on that pillow, you've probably accumulated lots of germs from your sweat, from your drool, just from sleeping on it over and over. By the way, please wash your pillows and sheets weekly. But above all, you don't want to do any of these other steps if you haven't cleansed the surface of your skin. I always tell guys to look for indicator words when they're shopping for products. So in this case, you want to find a gentle cleanser, no matter your skin type. I'm a guy who washes his face 3, sometimes even 4 times a day. I tend to work out in the middle of the day, so if I'm washing my face in the morning and night, of course I'm going to wash it after a workout too. But the best thing is there are some really gentle cleansers that cover all skin types. I'm thinking above all, Cardin's Clay Cleanser. This is my all-time favorite face wash. It has pillowy soft texture. I gave it one of my very first Blue Ribbon Awards, which is something we do here at Blueprint, of my all-time favorite products. This one is great on my combination skin. It's really purifying for the oily parts, but it's also really cushioning on the dry skin. I can't say enough good things about this product. Close behind it is Pretty Boy's Gel Cleanser. I love a gel cleanser for all skin types. I find it really hydrating, nourishing. It's not going to dehydrate you. I also love cleansing milks. Aesop's is my all-time favorite. It is so nourishing. It's so comforting. It's really lightweight. It's probably going to be better on dry skin types, but it is in a class of its own. All 3 of these types of cleansers, clays, gels, and milks, are really gentle. They should work across all skin types, especially the clay and the gel. They're going to pull impurities away from the skin. They're going to lift away oil, but they're not going to dehydrate you. The next step in the foundational skincare regimen is exfoliation. This is where you are removing the dead skin cells on the surface of your skin that haven't removed themselves. They do tend to pile up, they flake, they give you rough skin, they can clog your pores and make you break out. So you need to exfoliate to give yourself smoother, clearer, and brighter complexion. Now there are 2 types of exfoliants. There are physical scrubs and chemical exfoliants. Physical scrub is pretty self-explanatory. It's going to have some grit to it, and you're going to be able to manually buff away some of those skin cells. Have you ever noticed after a day at the beach when you're walking in the sand, your feet feel a lot smoother than before? It's basically the same thing with scrubs because you're lifting away all that dead skin. This also helps for the absorption of other products, the things you're going to apply after you exfoliate. Chemical exfoliants, on the other hand, can be broken down into a few different categories. The 2 primary ones that I'll talk about in this video are alpha hydroxy acids and beta hydroxy acids. You might see them as AHAs or BHAs. Now AHAs, the most common of which are glycolic, lactic, mandelic acid. Those are going to be more surface level exfoliation. So they're going to gently lift away those dead skin cells. Now the BHAs, namely salicylic acid, is really perfect for oily skin. It can seep through the lipid layer of your skin into your pores, and there it will free up any clogged oil that's in your pores. It will free up any trapped skin cells that are in there. In theory, it can also help regulate some sebum levels, so you might notice that with continued use of salicylic acid, you just get less oily over time. But regardless of the exfoliant that you choose, one thing to remember is that typically this is not a daily use product. Sometimes a brand will sell an exfoliant as a daily use product. You need to make sure they're marketing it as such. The best advice I have is to use an exfoliant as directed, but typically in the most general sense, an exfoliant is used maybe every 2 or 3 days, depending on how sensitive your skin might be, how aggressive that product is. You just do not want to over exfoliate, otherwise you're going to terrorize your skin barrier. You're going to have all sorts of inflammation, irritation, dehydration. It's not good. So you really have to temper how much you exfoliate, but it is important and you will notice a difference, especially if you have dry skin, oily skin, combination skin, acne prone skin, mature skin, basically everybody. I always think it's best to exfoliate in the evening just because it can be a little aggressive on the skin. So on the days that you do choose to use an exfoliating product, just use it as part of your bedtime regimen. That way you give your skin some time to recover and replenish itself before you wake up. As opposed to in the morning where you're going to present yourself to the world. You don't really want to be scrubbing your skin or adding aggressive active exfoliating ingredients to your skin. All right, some exfoliants I love. There's a really great one from Ursa Major that just launched. It has volcanic ash as a physical exfoliant. It has wintergreen extract, which kind of acts like BHA or salicylic acid. And it even has clay to help pull out some impurities from the pores. It is fantastic. I love to use it before I shave just to lift off any dead skin. Similar to that one is this one from Brickell. It has a water and an aloe base. It's really spongy and gel-like, and it uses jojoba beads and pumice as its exfoliant, and it's that perfect balance of gritty but not too. Now here's a little sneak peek at where you can start combining products, but I'm going to get more into this later in the video. But two of my favorite cleansers are Atwater's Skin Armor Face Scrub. This is above all a face scrub, but it has cleansing properties. It's also like weird and slimy and alien-like, but I kid you not, whenever I post this or talk about this, my DMs fill up with fans of this brand. I've never seen a reaction like this. The former CEO of Kiehl's is the founder of Atwater, so that might explain why he knows a thing or two about great formulas. Another exfoliating cleanser I love is from Peace Out. This is a salicylic acid cleanser. It's perfect for acne-prone skin because, you guessed it, it can seep into your pores and unclog them of trapped skin cells and oil buildup. Both of these two products from Atwater and Peace Out are gentle enough for daily use. That tends to be the case for cleansing products, but just figure out what works for you. Maybe you use it once a day, like in the evening, and then you swap in a gentle, more cushioning cleanser in the morning. Now, one other exfoliating ingredient is the category of retinoids. This is a topical vitamin A derivative. You might know them as retinols. It's kind of confusing. Retinol is a type of retinoid. Other types of retinoids include adapalene, like Differin, which is really sensitive and great for acne-prone skin, as well as prescription tretinoin, which is some of the highest grade retinoids you can get. That's what I've been using for about 7 or 8 years now. I've graduated myself all the way up to the most intense retinoid. The whole family of retinoids, no matter the intensity you use, is basically going to regulate your skin cell turnover. It basically acts like an exfoliant, but in doing so, it can prevent clogged pores, thus preventing acne, and it can give you firmer and brighter complexion too. It is known to help shrink the appearance of pores. It can sometimes regulate sebum levels in certain people. It can also reduce the appearance of some existing fine lines that you may have. Now, deep wrinkles, it's not going to do a lot for, but with really fine lines, you might see some noticeable improvement after 90 days of use, and you do need to keep using retinoids after the fact in order to continue receiving those benefits. If you have acne-prone skin, Differin gel is now available over the counter. It's really affordable and it's safe for daytime use. Whereas if you really want to dive in the deep end, you can see a dermatologist and get a prescription grade tretinoin. They can start you on the most sensitive low one. You can start by using it every few days. Just make sure you're using it as advised. Now, since we're talking about basic skincare regimens, I would like to introduce the sponsor of this video, which has a couple products that are fantastic in a foundational skincare routine. This brand is Feel Confident, and you probably recognize their founder, Dr. Gary Linkoff. He is a plastic surgeon in New York, but he is also a YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers. Feel Confident gives you those really great skincare essentials, like their facial cleanser, as well as their moisturizer. They've also got this great hyaluronic acid serum, which in my book is an essential step after cleansing and before moisturizing. They have this really great occlusive scar gel. On the hair care front, they have a trio of hair thickening products that use some of my all-time favorite ingredients like pumpkin seed oil, saw palmetto, caffeine to give you fuller hair. And one of my favorite things about Feel Confident is that you can access low-cost medicines for hair loss, like oral minoxidil, topical minoxidil, finasteride. I've talked about some of these in my videos related to hair loss. One thing that's preventing a lot of guys from using these products is just the inconvenience of making the appointment and getting the prescription. But with Feel Confident, that is made extremely easy and affordable. Use this code at feelconfident.com to get 10% off your first order. That code cannot be used on any of the prescription products, however. The next step for all skin types is moisturizing. Now, there's a misconception that people with oily skin don't need to moisturize. I would just like to remind you that using a moisturizing product is twofold. For one, yes, it can nourish and hydrate the skin that it is applied to. However, it also acts like a barrier on your skin to prevent moisture loss to the environment around you. If the environment is overly dry or arid, then you're going to keep the moisture that's in the deeper levels of your skin inside of there. Or let's say you're in an urban environment and there's lots of pollution around you, then a moisturizer can also act like a barrier for your skin against those toxins. Now, you will choose a moisturizer based on your skin type as well as your skin needs, because someone with extremely dry skin might need a product that's much more occlusive and thus traps the moisture all the better. Whereas someone with oily skin might prefer a lightweight product, something that wears really elegantly and like barely there, because yeah, if you put an occlusive product over oily skin, you're just going to get really sweaty and probably more oily, right? So you do need to choose a product based on your skin type. I also like to divide moisturizing into morning and night. A morning moisturizer might be more defensive against city pollution. It also might feel lighter on the skin, just to go with the fact that you might be moving around and more active and more sweaty. It might also have sunscreen in it if you want to combine those steps. Whereas a nighttime moisturizer, it might be a lot more nurturing. It's probably going to be a little more heavy. The best night creams are going to allow you to wake up looking really refreshed without any moisture loss. A couple of my favorite moisturizers, and yeah, I'm going to start repeating brands here on purpose so you can see that certain brands are really good at building out these regimens. One of my all-time favorites is Pretty Boy. This is so good for all skin types. It's also one of my blue ribbon winners for the best grooming products of all time. It is chock full of really great, gentle, active ingredients, really hydrating, nourishing. Another one is Cardin. They have two moisturizers that I absolutely love. One is an SPF 30. It's like milky, a little bit goes a long way as your daytime SPF powered moisturizer. It wears so light and silky. The other is a gel. I sometimes use it in the summer as a nighttime moisturizer, but I love using it in the daytime too. I find it extremely hydrating. It's going to be great for all skin types, especially dry skin. You can also layer these two moisturizers together. Atwater, again, they have 3 different moisturizers that address different skin types. So you can pick the one that has a concentration or target ingredients for your skin needs. I'm going to shout out Kiehl's for 2 of my absolute favorite night creams. One is their overnight hydrating mask. I think of this mask as a night cream. It has 10.5% squalane, which is a really specific percentage, I guess, but this is basically going to be extremely hydrating and nourishing. I love to use this when I feel like my skin is overly dry or just needs a super recovery while I sleep. My partner uses it almost nightly. He's got a little more dry skin than me, but one of my all-time favorite products is from Kiehl's as well. It is their Midnight Recovery Omega Rich Cloud Cream. It is like a marshmallow whip. I love texture. That's why I shouted out the Cardin Clay Cleanser at the top of this. It goes so beautifully on the skin. I find it a little bit on the heavy side, which is why to me it's the perfect nighttime moisturizer. Even in the summer, even for my more oily skin, I adore this product and I feel like I always wake up looking better than I went to sleep. The 4th step in the baseline skincare regimen is SPF. I hope you saw this coming, but truly, think of all the people in the world who, when they get in their 30s, 40s, 50s, or beyond, they're doing whatever they can procedurally to make sure that they stop their skin from aging too fast. They want to look as young as possible. You want to know how to look as young as possible? Wear SPF 30, at least SPF 30, every single day of your life. Every single day. I'm talking even if you're just sitting by the window, even if you're running an errand for 10 minutes, you're barely going to be outside. Even if you're just commuting to work and you're outside for 5 minutes, please wear SPF 30 every single day, because 365 days a year multiplied by 10, 20, 30 years, that's like 11,000 days of your life where you could be just wearing a little bit of sunscreen and you chose to. That is truly the difference between looking 20 years younger than your peers when you're 50 years old or 60 years old, all right? Now, there are 2 types of SPF that you can get. There are chemical filters and mineral filters. Mineral filters are primarily going to be zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. These aren't going to absorb into your skin. They're going to be worn more on the surface of your skin. When you apply them, you might notice a chalkiness or that you have to rub them in a little more. That's kind of the point. A really good mineral SPF will obviously wear more elegantly and blend in cleanly, but the truth is a lot of them have some chemical filters in them. Some of them might be hybrid, some of them might be masquerading as mineral. Chemical SPFs are my personal favorite. I find that they wear more elegantly, they blend into the skin really cleanly. All skin tones can wear them without worry of looking chalky or ghost-like. The industry has really gotten rid of the worst offenders of chemical SPFs, the ones that really could absorb into your bloodstream and affect your hormones. A lot of brands that only produce mineral sunscreens like to vilify the chemical ones, but truth be told, Some of the best scientists in the world, some of the best cosmetic chemists are behind these chemical ones, making sure that they're safe for you. There's really no better solution in terms of which one is performing better. It's just a matter of personal preference of which feels more comfortable for you, because you want it to be something that you wear every single day and that you either look forward to wearing every day or are happy to apply every single day. So whichever product works for you is the right answer. I just think that the more universal option is going to be chemical sunscreens. Some of my favorite sunscreens, I have to shout out Supergoop. They're my absolute favorite sunscreen brand. They're a little more top shelf here, but they've got great chemical, mineral, hybrid options across the board. You name it, Supergoop probably produces it. I also love that their everyday sunscreen is great for both face and body. So you can buy it in bulk and just take one product to the beach and use that all day. It's water resistant up to 80 minutes. I love that it's formulated for both the face and the body. That's something you need to be careful of too, is that whatever you're putting on the face is formulated for the face, because a lot of body sunscreens might be occlusive, can clog the pores, be a little more oily on the face. So just make sure whatever you're putting on the face is good for your face. My favorite mineral sunscreen right now is probably from Ursa Major. I mentioned them earlier in this video. They make great products across the board. I find this one wears a lot lighter than other options. When I have longer facial hair, even a little bit longer than this, I tend to avoid all mineral sunscreens on a daily basis, but I do think that one's great if you just wear stubble or are barefaced. Speaking of products that I look forward to using every single day, I am genuinely happy when I'm applying Cardin's SPF to my face. Their SPF 30 wears so lightweight. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, why don't you give us a thumbs up? Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can click the link below and subscribe to the Blueprint newsletter. That's where I talk about all the latest products that are hitting the market, including my favorites. We're covering everything from hair loss to butt sweat to body odor, fragrances, gift guides, cosmetic procedures, you name it. We're probably talking about it at Blueprint and in our newsletter. And on occasion, we do some big ticket product giveaways and have exclusive discounts. It is a free newsletter. You can go to grooming.tips to enroll or click the link below this video. Now let's talk about different ways you can combine skincare steps without compromising on efficacy. Obviously, there are some exfoliating cleansers out there. We talked about salicylic acid. You can also find some with alpha hydroxy acids if you have dry skin. A lot of these are good enough for daily use. Always use as directed. Some even have both AHAs and BHAs. Dr. Dennis Gross has a really fantastic cleanser in this way. You can also combine your moisturizer and your SPF. So by using an SPF packed moisturizer, like the ones I talked about from Ursa Major or Cardin, you can combine those two steps into one. So yeah, in theory, you could get by with having an exfoliating cleanser and an SPF packed moisturizer. However, I would just please encourage you to add a little bit of nuance to your regimen. You know, maybe you could have two cleansers, one that exfoliates that you use at night and one that just cleanses and purifies that you use in the morning. Or you could get a night cream to separate from your daytime moisturizer. Maybe your daytime moisturizer has SPF in it, but maybe your night cream has retinol in it. That's a great way to get exfoliating benefits from a night cream. So you could have those two different moisturizers that wear differently. One in the daytime that really protects you from UV rays and city pollution, and one at night that pairs really well with your body's cellular regeneration cycles to help you looking your smoothest, brightest, and most replenished when you wake up. Now look, if you are experiencing acne in the meantime, or you do want to actively prevent things like hyperpigmentation or fine lines, it might be important to start adding some more nuanced products or ingredients into your regimen. The good thing is that if you do your research, you can incorporate some of these ingredients into your baseline regimen. For example, vitamin C is a really great ingredient to use against hyperpigmentation. It can give you brighter skin. It's a great antioxidant ingredient that can just neutralize some of the instant impacts of UV rays and urban pollution. If you have really acne-prone skin, we obviously talked about incorporating some exfoliating acids into your regimen. If you have really dry skin, you might want to add hyaluronic acid into your regimen. These are all different things that add nuance based on what your skin needs. So take those foundational steps: cleansing twice a day, exfoliating a couple times a week, moisturizing twice a day, and using SPF every single day. And then add whatever nuance you need to that. But remember, the most important thing is to build a regimen that you can stick with. Whether that's financially, whether that's convenience, you need to figure out what works for you. I would love to know in the comments below, what is your favorite skincare brand, your favorite skincare product, something that falls into any of these 4 categories. I'd love it to be a place where other people who are watching this video can find a recommendation from you for themselves. That could be a product that combines multiple steps into one. That could be a product that is just above and beyond. Maybe it's the best bargain, or maybe it's something that's a splurge, but it's worth every cent. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. If it isn't already obvious, I've got plenty to say on the topic of men's grooming, so you can subscribe to this channel for more. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the Blueprint newsletter, check out our site, follow us on Instagram. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.